Nathan Kussy was a Jewish-American lawyer and writer, born in 1872 in Newark, New Jersey, the son of Bohemian Jewish immigrant and butcher Gustav Kussy and his wife Bella Bloch. In 1890, he graduated from Newark High School and from 1892 worked on the Newark Journal before moving on to the Newark Times when the journal closed. From 1894, he studied law at the New York University Law School. In 1900, he married Clementine Levy, the pair having 3 children. He died in Newark in 1956. As far as his writing, Kussy wrote a handful of miniature plays, such as The President Speaks and Crooks, which last one was performed in US Army camps in 1918. He wrote 2 novels, his 1907 Grinmar, today's subject, and his 1915 The Abyss. The Columbia Daily Spectator describes scenes from the latter novel thusly. Such unbelievable practices as the maiming of a child's hand to enable him to become a better beggar are described in great detail. The incident of a deformed girl who was encased in a monkey's skin and trained to pass off as one is another of the abhorrent pictures he draws. At times he is extremely sentimental. As for Grinmar, Kussy begins the novel with a shout of joy that his evil purpose of getting a book published was finally accomplished, being very tongue-in-cheek in his compassion for the poor publishers and all the manuscripts they grieve over so for not being able to accept, and then explains the novel is an adaptation of the 3rd and 4th acts of an unrealized and unpublished play he had written. The story proper takes place in the 16th century and is prefaced by a slightly overlong prologue narrating the freezing weather in London, before we see Grinmar, a vile old rogue, sitting in his abode and plotting his revenge, chiefly against Sanderson, who in the past had married the woman he had loved, and now turned to him that he be remembered in his, Grinmar's, will. And there are others, Hanky, Brown, Moore, etc., parasites all of them, with similar designs, whom he hates nearly as much. The one person he kind of likes is his nephew Wilson, but not so much he will not conspire to keep Sanderson's daughter away from him so that they could not get married. Grinmar's plan is to invite his friends to a remote old castle wherein their horses are taken from them, and after a feast they are to be tortured to death horribly at the hands of his guards. The men, unable to save themselves, contend for the dubious right of one of them trying in vain to walk back to London through the snowstorm without a horse or any means of transportation. However, towards the end of his entertainment, an unexpected guest arrives, one whom Grinmar did not anticipate, upsetting his plans in a very comic sort of way. For being seemingly the author's first book, this is a brilliant, grim little novel, very gothic in its tone, and is highly recommended as an example of the conte cruel in novel form.